here at a little car dealership putting in a sewer line for a plumber. And early morning, Friday morning, we got in. We're driving over some of it we've already put in here. This dirt out here is just saturated with water. It makes water. It just is full of water all the time. Just not a very fun job, but we're getting through it. What we've been doing is we put in we usually dig till about noon, and then we yeah, that thing's full of water again this morning. We usually dig till noon, and then we will call in a video inspection. And after we get that called in, I'm gonna move this dumpster a little more. We gotta have room for dirt. These people out here don't understand nothing. Just like they just, you tell them what you need to do, and they just kind of look at you like you're they just don't care. I hit something. Under the wheels on it. Anyway, I'm gonna dig a little pit here for I guess I just get frustrated when people don't offer to help you out any. They just kind of look at you like it's not my problem. Anyway, I shouldn't complain. It's a good day. It's a good day to be working. Any day is a good day to be working. But anyway, we are digging. We're benching this. I'm benching this down. We're using an 18-inch bucket, which is kind of narrow, but we don't have a lot of room for dirt. And if you bench it back, it's not that big a deal. Gives you a little more room to work in a ditch. And like I say, this stuff's really wet, so we don't trust it to stand up by itself, so we gotta bench it back. And I'm kind of building a little bit of a ramp here, or road, so that I can drive around this. I can get two wheels on the concrete over here and two off. Building a little, and I got to remember there's a sewer line coming out of this building we don't want to cut here in a minute, so we're going to be crossing it shortly. And it's an active sewer line. This is for a new sewer line for a new part of the building, but they've kept parts of this building and they've added on new parts, and it's been a mess. It's easier to start over than it is to try to remodel, especially while they're trying to keep the dealership open. It's been a challenge for everybody, I guess, but it's just crazy. The way they're done, it's just kind of crazy. Anyway, this is a daily routine. We got to pump water out of the ditch. we're about 5 foot deep right there. We got to pump water out of the ditch. After we pump water out of the ditch, I usually dig a little sump beside the pipe, and we over dig a little bit, and we're putting gravel or rock back in so that we can have a nice bed for the pipe, and then we cover it with a little rock, and then I'm gonna forget this pipe today, I'm pretty sure. After we get it inspected, we backfill and compact with wicker packers and the backhoe. So we're going to kind of rush a little bit. We're not going to. Well, I say we're going to rush a little bit. We're going to try to make good time. We don't. We're going to do it safely. We just, you know, going to be a good day, I think. We've had, like I say, 2 days. This will be day 3 on it. I don't think we'll get it done today. We might, but I doubt it. Most likely going to be Monday before we get done with it. I do have a little bit of digging to do for the electrician. And there's fixing to be a piece of 2.5 inch PVC we're going to uncover right here. There's an old water line that ran through here. And we've been peeling it out as we go. Kind of see the sandy layer of dirt. There it is. It uncovered, peeled out of the ground, but I don't really want to dig into this water. I want to let these guys get it pumped down. I'm just trying to get a little bit ahead on building the bench here. Now that pipe changed sizes there, looks like. Well, whenever you're digging beside a ditch line, an old existing ditch line, it doesn't matter if the pipe's abandoned or not, you're going to have a layer of dirt that wants to cave in off of that ditch, especially if you're real close to it. And that's one reason we're benching this, is we're trying to take that bench down to where it's that stuff's kind of hard to break. They've been cutting it for me usually, but I got her there. But anyway, like I was saying, whenever you're digging, and this, it's not something you really think about until it happens to you, but if you're digging beside a trench line or a ditch line, and get in the bucket, dang it. Come on. Anyway, slippery little sucker. Anyway, whenever you're digging beside a ditch line, that old ditch line has got a tendency to want to break off and fall in on you, so it's not that big a deal if you're shallow, but if you're down 4 or 5 foot deep, it's about enough to hurt you or get somebody hurt. So just something you kind of got to be mindful of. It's hard to figure that out when you're digging across an existing site that's had probably two or three different buildings out here in the past, and we don't know what was here. We don't know, you know, we just kind of came across that one. But wet dirt's always unstable. Whenever you get into something like this where it's making water, it's going to be unstable. So you shouldn't trust it. You shouldn't put guys in a hole over 4 foot deep in material like this without at least trying to bench it. And I know my benches are not what you would call up to the standard, but what I got here is way better than what it could be. We could go bigger on the benches. We could make them perfect, but pretty sure if an inspector came by, the only thing he'd probably complain about is lack of hard hats and ladders, which I guess I could be digging steps. You can't hardly dig steps out of dirt like this. It just crumbles. There's nothing real stable. Let's use that over here. You can't make a neat dig in it. It just doesn't work. Anyway, I'm gonna start looking for this sewer line that is supposedly in here. I usually start by digging down about 6 inches deep at a time, and then we look for a ditch line, which sometimes you can find them, sometimes you can't. Okay. Wind don't want to stay up. We'll ease down here. He said it's only a couple feet deep, so. But it's a live sewer they're using, so we don't want to cut it for sure. Like I say, if you dig kind of level, 6 inches down, you usually kind of widen it out a little bit. You can kind of see a ditch sometimes. Kind of like an old sandy spot there, maybe. Gray sand in there. Probably is where it's at. So anyway, that's kind of the overview of the day and what we're doing. And of course I'm drinking a little coffee as we're doing this, so I love coffee. There she is. So that'd be our sewer line. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of dig a bench over it. Plumber left the shovel there for me. It's gonna be in my way though. Anytime you can kind of make a little progress ahead of somebody instead of sitting there just waiting on them. I mean, like digging this bench out, it takes a little time. I can back over it. It's not too wide to get back up over, so it will cave in a little bit, but it's not like I'm going to lose a machine or anything like that. So anyway, there's water line. And that thing will surprise you just about every time you hit it. Because forget about it. level down, so we should be able to start digging the ditch back there. And continue on with pipe. Anyway, like I say, I'm just trying to make up, stay busy instead of goofing off, waiting. But it's been really hot. Afternoons have been up to 110 a couple days this week. 112. I saw my thermometer hit 113 once. So we're trying to work early in the morning and quit a little early in the afternoon. Try to miss that really hot part of the day, but it's still pretty dang miserable and hot. But I can't. There's got to be a source for this water that's just kind of unreal, because we're in a drought right now. I mean, there's no way we should have this much water in this ditch. So as they're pumping, we're going to keep digging down a little bit. But I will need to dig out a pit over beside this ditch so that they can get the water level down below where we're putting the pipe in. Not sure their pump's working real great, but it seems a little slow. Anyway, it might have swallowed some rocks, I don't know, but it's pumping. We'll get this pumped out and get going here. Go ahead and dig him a sump pit over here for that pump so we can get water level down beside the pipe. Probably should have dug it out last night before we went home, but the problem with this crap is the more you leave open, or the bigger the hole you got, the more caves in the next morning after the water level goes down. So you kind of, it's one of them deals. If you do it one way, yeah, it might have saved some time this morning, but the problem is it probably would have caved in, and it probably would have been full of mud this morning anyway. Anyhow, that's kind of, it's just kind of the way it works with this stuff when it's this wet. We'll get them a hole going here, and they can start laying pipe here in a minute. What we do is usually dig a couple passes, maybe 20-some foot, and then we go back and bed it in with some rock, kind of get our grade. We're not using a laser or anything. We're just old-fashioned, old school, doing it the way we do it, but it works. I like using laser better, but these guys don't see the need to, so we're not going to do it that way. I don't normally try to argue with my customer. If they think they're right, then I don't mind. We'll get down deeper here. Whenever we're backfilling, we have to do it in lifts. That's kind of why that stair step back there. didn't want to cover up the end of the pipe and wanted to kind of get everything down to that we could compact it. So that's kind of why we're there with that. Take another scoop out of that. We'll get rolling here in a minute. But this job makes water. It's made water ever since the day we started it. We started it last summer, actually. The new building they put in, we put it in last summer. We were fighting water middle of summer on it, and like I say, we're just through the winter, through the spring, everything. It's just anytime you dig a hole out here, you find water. So, just a little bit different than footing digging. It's not complicated work. It's actually kind of enjoyable. Of course, anything that has to do with tobacco is enjoyable, right? It's how I make my money, so might as well enjoy it. I think a lot of times people look at work the wrong way. It's actually good for you if you like it. There is something to getting away, having a vacation, getting away from work. I think that's good for a person. It's good to get a break from it, but work is actually good, I think. I don't know. You got a purpose and you got a direction to go every day, it makes a difference. Now we're getting somewhere. We got the water level down. Fixing to clean out some mud. Like I say, I'm still trying to keep the dirt dry as I can. Anytime you let water run in on your ditch, you're gonna have, it's just gonna be too wet at that point. Anyway, like I said, back to this bench on this ditch. You know, I don't know that it's OSHA inspector might look at it and say, yeah, that's not good enough, or, you know, we're not over 5 foot deep. We're close to it, but 5 foot deep is where they require shoring. At 4 foot, they recommend it, so, you know. But I think that as long as a person's trying or making an effort to make it safe, they look at that as a positive. I don't know, all inspectors, I've never got that far into it with them, but if I straight walled this 18 inches wide and you had a guy in that ditch 5 foot deep, I guarantee you they would look at that and say that's a bad deal. That's going to get somebody hurt, and it probably would. Like I say, we've got old ditch lines in here. We've got dirt that's not really good building dirt. It works. It holds things up somehow, but it's all saturated with water. So. I'm getting through the black stuff. There's some red clay down at the bottom, and it's kind of funny. I'll get through that red clay, and it'll just spring a leak. It'll just start blowing water out. I mean, not fast, but it's almost like there's a city water leak out here or something. But I don't know. Probably not. Makes you wonder though. We still pumping water out of that ditch line. That gravel carries a lot of water. We're not going real deep with the gravel. I think they actually got water inside the pipe. Not sure how that's happening, but they may be using. Oh, they got that shop open. I don't know if they're using water back here or what they got going on. But this comes out of a grease trap. This is not actually a bathroom or sewer. It's actually out of a. They've got some floor drains in the shop. They've got a grease trap. They've got a car wash that ties into part of it. It goes through a sand trap before it hits a grease trap. So that's kind of what we got going on there. So this, even though it's water, it's not sewage. Now if I break this other line here, we'll have a different story to tell. Hopefully that won't happen. Keep reminding myself there's a sewer line. Get back up here and clean that out so it can drain better. Deeper with the bucket hole over there, I don't know. Thought I had it deep enough. I think that's probably deep enough. Down a little lower so we can get some bedding under the pipe. At least 3 or 4 inches under it ought to be enough, I think. Got that down couple of feet deeper than the. I think we're good there. I think that'll work. Get after it. Been doing rock is I guess I'm kind of spoiling the plumbers a little bit, but it's okay. We'll get a little bucket full at a time and just drive up there and dump it in it. Well, if we had a skid steer, we could drive around there and dump in from the side, but you don't always have to have a skid steer. Just saying. The way we've been digging, bucket usually goes about 8 feet or so. So it's not like it takes forever to do it this way. Takes a little bit, but you're gonna see here in a minute why I don't like dumping it out of a bucket at the top of the ditch, because it's dusty. This rock needs some water on it. Back here where I can reach, and then we might let this drain just a little bit first. Probably wouldn't hurt. Making a lot of water. backfilling now, and this is not the most ideal situation. Not ideal dirt. I can't really get in an ideal position to be able to lay the dirt in nice for them, so we're just kind of got to drag it in from the side to get that first lift in there. What we're doing is going to probably be better than what was here. This dirt is not good. Like I say, it's what they wanted in here. These car dealerships, they'll build them, they'll tear them down in about 10 years. So, kind of the way it goes with this kind of stuff. Some of it, you know, you'd like to think that what you're building is going to last forever, but these don't. One of the first jobs I did was across the street here in Edmond. I hate doing it like that. They're probably going to get their packer stuck with some of that stuff. It's wet. But the first job I did was across the street over there. It's already been torn down. Of course, that was 30 years ago. That was Uniberg Chevrolet in North Oklahoma City, South Edmond, wherever you want to call it, I guess. Anyway, putting some dirt in so these guys can pack it. We'll do a couple more lifts after this, and then I'll probably will roll the top in. My soil experts that watch the channel are going to say this is not the right way to do it. Like I say, I know the right way would be to take all this dirt out and put something different back in, but they don't want to spend the money to do that, so what do you do? I mean, probably would be best to fill the whole ditch up with inch and a half rock and haul all this crap off. But anyway, like I say, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might get what you need. I'd like to be able to straddle the ditch so I can lay it down in there better, but just can't do it. Not enough. That dirt won't hold me up very good, so working from the side, about all we can do with it. So we got, I think, 80 feet in today. We're gonna stop there. It's Friday and it gets really, really hot. It's about noon now. It's already hot, but it's gonna get hotter. I say, you really can't get really good compaction on stuff like this. But it'll work. It's what they had under here to begin with, so we're gonna put it back. We got dirt on both sides of the ditch up here. Ideally, I would have set this up a little different, but without, I mean, we're having to work around some other trades out here, and everybody's kind of on top of each other, so we're trying to make the best of it. It's not probably the most efficient, but we'll get it done. And like I say, the way we've got this set up, it's just not, it ain't what we usually do, but oh well, sometimes you just gotta go with it. Packing mud, pretty much. I try to make it easy on the guys with the packers, so they don't have to work too hard. If you get it halfway flat, kind of smash it down a little bit for them, it makes their job a little bit easier. And we'll be knocking out a little bit early today probably, which is okay. It's Friday. Not everybody wants to work all the time. And you can see back here, I kind of got a spot that's kind of soft. He's having to work at it a little harder than he needs to be, but when you got 89 or 90, 99% or moisture content, as Dave Bird would say, it's a little bit, what is it, a little bit wet of optimum? Just a little bit. You don't want to cut the water line, it's right in there. And it turns and goes right beside that concrete slab, so. We gotta kind of be careful where we stick our bucket. Once we get this down, I'll get another lift I'll start using the front end loader to push some in there and wheel roll it. So, pretty painless actually. And I'm not sure, they may come in here and stabilize this soil before they compact it. I don't know what their plans are. That may be why it's not a big deal. If they stabilize the top of this, it'll probably be fine. I've seen a lot of places where they do that, and they can take bad dirt and make it good with that stabilization process. Like to back up over the pipe, but just ain't quite quite got enough there yet to do it. I will here in a minute. I had to kind of knock this down. This is the spoil pile that I had. I couldn't set it on the other side of the ditch on account of the dumpster sitting over there. Need a little bit better material to put around that riser. There's still some of the rock. You can see what this looks like when you put it back in. It's just crap. If this were going under a building, I'm sure we'd be hauling this off. But I guess with the parking lot, you're okay with it. Anyway, that's about all I know. It's nice that Oklahoma City is doing video inspections now, so you can take your smartphone and you can do a FaceTime or whatever with the inspector. They record the inspection, and they got a record of it. But it's a lot more timely than having to send an inspector all the way across Oklahoma City to do an inspection. A lot of times, I mean, Oklahoma City is a pretty big city as far as miles, so our inspectors can cover a lot more, a lot faster. So, and I think that all came from COVID. So whatever you say about COVID, there's been a few good things come about from it. And, you know, a lot of people now work from home where they used to, you know, always had to drive to work. So it ain't all bad, I guess. Bad enough. I think the worst part is how it really just kind of crashed the economy. And then they're trying to take credit for restarting it, and that's well, without getting political too much, it's going to be one of them things that's going to take forever to recover completely from, I think, if we do. Anyway, I think I can straddle the ditch at this point. At least this end down here, a little bit of it. We put gravel in on top of the pipe. I'm gonna leave this end open here, but back in here I'm gonna have my stabilizers low just in case something gives way. I do have a ditch under my right side over here. One of our packers ran out of gas. We'll get some gas. We need some electric packers, I guess. That way they could have dead batteries. Pretty good looking topsoil. This would probably grow some good crops. mount this a little bit closer together. yet.